So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you all about what's been going on in Edmonton's real estate market for the month of July in 2023. And Edmonton has seen a hot, busy summer full of our festivals again, full of lots of activities, including staying away from the rain. So we've had hot weather and a ton of rain. It's been a great summer to be outside. And what's been going on in Edmonton's real estate market? Well, it's been also busy. Edmonton had a really slow start for the beginning part of this year, and we started to see an uptick in the real estate market the later part of May and June, which is usually when the real estate market starts to quiet down. Spring was a lot quieter, and why would that be? Potentially my speculation is when interest rates were told that we weren't going to go up anytime soon, they didn't go up for a little bit, and people just kind of sat and were waiting and wondering if the prices would crash and come down. You had sellers that wanted pricing from last year, and they weren't getting that activity or the demand that they wanted. Now, sellers that priced their home properly for this market still saw movement and still saw action and potentially multiple offers. They were still happening. You just had to be priced exactly right. So I believe that when the interest rates started coming back up again, that motivated buyers to purchase because now the rates are going up, and if they're not purchasing in the next 120 days for the rate hold, they were then going to lose that rate and then have to go with the higher rate. So though the interest rates to increase is supposed to deflate inflation, I personally don't see that because it's motivating and increasing the demand on the housing side. So in this video, we're going to talk about all residential homes in Edmonton area. The Edmonton Real Estate Board is where I'm getting all these stats from, and they include everything from condos and single family. So all residential means condos and single family included in that number. So the number of new listings that we saw in the month of July was 2446. That's everything. That's brand new, came onto the market. That does not include the houses that did not sell from the month before or the month before that. That's just brand new listings. Now, we've had that number go down from month over month. And if you look at year to date, we've had 16,000 listings put on the market this year, which is also down from last year. So not as many sellers putting their house on the market. And why is that? Well, they've got the interest rates that are lower at 2%. And do they really want to sell that to then move into a home that has a higher interest rate? You can port your mortgage. There could be blending. There's so many options. But if it doesn't make sense for your family to move, it doesn't necessarily make sense to move just because of the interest rates. I think it's really important that people find out their affordability through their mortgage broker, because you don't want to put yourself in a negative equity position by moving yourself from a home that works for your family to a home that's smaller just because the mortgage payments could be lower. There are other ways to adjust your mortgage payments, and that's something you should talk to a broker about. Now, when you take a look at the sales, we had just under 1,600 sales for the month of July. That is lower than it was the month before. No surprise, it's July. People are on holidays. However, year to date, we've had just over 9,300 listings sell, and that is actually higher than last year. Now, don't forget these stats include single family and condos. And what I'm seeing is because people can't afford this price point anymore, they're coming down here. A lot of it is being pushed, these buyers are being pushed from single family into condos because they can't afford a single family home anymore. So what does that even mean? The average price that we saw in Edmonton so far is $384,000, which is lower from month over month and year over year. And if you look at just the single family detached homes, the average price there is $490,000, which is lower than it was last year. But if you look at the detached, which are duplexes, they're at $382,000, and that's increased from last year in price. And the row townhouses increased slightly to $256,000. Now, the row townhouses and the duplexes, those ones also include properties that could potentially either have condo fees or don't have condo fees. But it's interesting to see that their average prices went up, which indicates that there's more demand, more people are buying it because of the fact that that's what is more affordable. And that was actually the prediction of the board in early January when they were looking at what's going to happen for this year. Obviously, if people can't afford the houses anymore, they're moving downwards, and that's where the demand actually is. The most popular price point in Edmonton would still be in that $350 to $450 mark, so it's a very hot market when it comes there. anything over 500, we're seeing a much quieter market than we did last year. And so the demand definitely smaller there. You're definitely seeing more of a buyer's market in the price points over 500. If you're looking at new build homes for a front attached double car garage in the front, you're looking over 600. You might get high 500s with the discounting that they're doing right now, but you have to take into consideration when you compare it to a resale home with everything done, it's not always done there, right? And the resale homes are sitting for the same type of home in the 500s, but for the older ones, then you're gonna see lower price points. So if you want something that's less than average, which means older, then you still can get in your price point, or you might be not in the location that you want. Maybe you're out in the suburbs or you're out in the outskirts. So you're not in Edmonton, maybe you're in the surrounding areas. I would say Spruce and Stoney, St. Albert Shore Park, though they're surrounding areas, they usually are stronger markets than Edmonton proper. So currently we have 5,126 houses for sale. That was for the end of July. And if you look at the single family versus condo, the ratio is almost 50-50. If you look at if you're tuning in on Tuesdays at my live updates that I do every week, I do talk about just single family homes. And in Edmonton proper, we're just under 3,000. So you can see that the ratio there's quite a bit of condos on the market, included with that 5,126. Now the average days on market for a detached single family home, right, for July is just 10 days higher than it was last year, sitting at 45 versus 35 last year. So what does this all mean for you as a buyer or a seller? If you are a seller and you're looking to make a move because you want to upgrade or downsize, just make sure that you've got all your financial ducks in a row. A lot of buyers even are thinking that they can use pre-approvals from last year or even earlier this year. Things are constantly changing and you want to make sure you understand the market and how much things are actually costing you. So make sure to look into the financial side of things. For sellers, I've said this before, even in a hot market, it is worth the time and effort to get your house ready to sell, because if you don't, it's going to impact the sale price. So if you're looking for updates in terms of what's happening in Edmonton and surrounding areas, we do talk about that on our weekly updates. I talk about Spruce Grove, I talk about St. Albert Shore Park and Edmonton. We also look at what happened this year versus last year. And an important observation that I've made is that last year, though, everything was really fast and then really slow. This year we've had a little bit more consistency, even though we did see a quite slow start to the year. We've seen things kind of pick up, and I'm not quite sure, I don't have a crystal ball, if the market's just gonna drop. I highly doubt it's gonna just drop. We saw that last year because our market was too unsustainable. This year it's been going at a pretty regular pace. So if anything, it'll just slowly stay consistent. I don't expect it to just drop. So if there's anything you're taking from this video, is that because we do have affordable homes, there's something I also want you to know. The prices don't increase as drastically as they have in those couple of crazy years that we had here in Edmonton. We tend to see a very slow, gradual, slow and steady, 1 to 2% increase year over year, and it's a pretty slow grind. And you can see the more affordable homes are what people have the more demand in. And so if you're looking to buy in that price point as a first-time home buyer, you've got to be prepared and educated to understand, what is your money gonna buy you? How quickly do you have to move? Do you still have to move fast? Are you gonna be dealing with multiple offers? It all depends on the type of home you're buying, the area you're buying in, and that's always been, no matter if it's been a hot market or a slow market, you still need to understand that if you're looking to upgrade your home, you can see that this is a prime market for it because of the fact that you're able to go move into a buyer's market to purchase your home, because if it's over 500, it's not moving as fast, but yet your starter home that might sell for 350 or 400 is gonna move quite quickly. So there's different strategies that you can take when it comes to that. Edmonton, in terms of what's gonna happen in August and September, I can only guess. I was just saying that August doesn't know what to do weather-wise, if it's summer or if it's fall. It's also a lot of people just trying to take off for the last part of the summer, and they're trying to get in, or they're also trying to move into a house before school starts. Now in Edmonton, our weather changes usually in the end of September, October. Winter tends to come in the end of October. I know that's not what winter on the calendar says. Winter says December, but we start to see snow usually around Halloween. So people are trying to move in before that. They're trying to move in before their rate holds are over. Potentially a lot of them are over in September. And then some people are thinking they'll just wait until the new year. So just keep in mind, if you're a buyer, are you waiting for a property that doesn't exist? Because if you are, you're just gonna be waiting a really long time. If you're a seller waiting for your prices to go back up, you might also be waiting a long time. So I just wanna give you the straight up goods. If you have any questions, make sure to tune in on Tuesdays when we talk all about what is going on that exact week and your state. Talk to you guys later.